The screen cut through Terminal B like a knife through silence. Please? Somebody help me. My mom, she's not waking up. Cameron West heard the child's voice before he saw her. He had just watched his private jet taxi away from the gate, the result of a conference call that ran 20 minutes too long. 20 minutes that cost him his flight to Tokyo. 20 minutes that now seemed like divine intervention. The little girl couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Her natural curls bounced as she ran, tears streaming down her brown cheeks, her bright red dress a blur of color against the terminal's white floors. She was running straight toward him, her small hands reaching out desperately. Please, mister. Please help me. Cameron dropped his briefcase without thinking. His expensive leather bag hit the floor with a thud as he knelt down to the child's eye level. Behind her, near gate 47, he could see a woman lying motionless on the ground. People were gathering, some filming with their phones, others just staring. Where's your mom, sweetheart? Cameron asked, though he already knew the answer. She fell down. She won't talk to me. She won't open her eyes. The little girl sobbed, grabbing his navy blue suit jacket with both hands. Please, you have to help her. Please. Cameron looked into the child's terrified eyes and saw pure, raw fear. The kind of fear that makes your stomach drop. The kind that changes everything. Show me, he said firmly, taking her small hand in his. They ran together across the terminal. Cameron's Italian leather shoes slapped against the polished floor as they weaved between travelers dragging suitcases and families heading to their gates. The little girl pulled him forward with surprising strength, her desperation giving her speed. When they reached gate 47, Cameron's heart sank. The woman was sprawled on the ground, her yellow dress twisted around her legs, one arm stretched out as if she tried to catch herself when she fell. Her breathing was shallow, barely visible. Her beautiful face was peaceful, which somehow made it worse. She looked like she was sleeping, but something was very wrong. Mom? Mom, wake up. The little girl dropped to her knees beside her mother, shaking her shoulder. I brought help. Please wake up. Cameron immediately checked for a pulse. It was there, but weak and irregular. He looked around at the crowd that had formed. At least 30 people stood in a circle, watching. Some were recording. None were helping. Someone call 911 right now. Cameron ordered, his voice sharp and commanding. When no one moved fast enough, he pulled out his own phone and dialed. I need an ambulance at the airport, Terminal B, gate 47. Woman in her 30s, unconscious, weak pulse, shallow breathing. The operator's calm voice asked questions. Cameron answered each one while keeping his free hand on the woman's wrist, monitoring her pulse. The little girl clung to his arm, her whole body shaking with sobs. Is she going to die? Is my mom going to die? The child's voice was so small, so broken. No, sweetheart. No, she's not. Help is coming, okay. What's your name? Hope. My name is Hope. That's a beautiful name. I'm Cameron. Hope, I need you to be very brave right now. Can you do that for your mom? Hope nodded, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Her red dress had a small stain on it, probably from lunch earlier. Her white sneakers had cartoon characters on them. She was just a baby, really? Too young to handle this kind of terror. Does your mom have any medical conditions? Does she take any medicine? Cameron asked gently. She gets really tired. She works a lot. 3 jobs. She said she just needed to rest on the plane. Hope's voice trembled. We were going to visit my grandma in Florida. It was supposed to be a surprise. Cameron felt something twist in his chest. 3 jobs. A single mother by the looks of it, working herself to exhaustion to provide for her daughter. And now she was unconscious on an airport floor while strangers filmed her worst moment. Put those phones away, Cameron said coldly to the crowd. His tone made several people lower their devices immediately. Give her some dignity. Airport security arrived first, pushing through the crowd with a medical kit. A young security officer knelt beside the woman and began checking her vital signs. An older officer started clearing the area, moving people back. Ambulance is 3 minutes out, the young officer said. What happened? I don't know. I just got here. Her daughter said she collapsed. Cameron kept his hand on Hope's shoulder. The child was still shaking. The paramedics arrived with a stretcher and professional efficiency. They worked quickly, asking questions, checking responses, hooking up a portable monitor. Cameron watched the numbers on the screen. Blood pressure dangerously low. Heart rate erratic. We're taking her to Mercy General, one paramedic said, lifting the stretcher. It's the closest trauma center. Wait. I have to go with her. That's my mom. Hope tried to follow, but a security officer held her back gently. Honey, you can't ride in the ambulance. Is there someone we can call? A family member? No. There's nobody. Just me and Mom. Hope's voice rose to a desperate pitch. She looked at Cameron with pure panic. Please don't leave me. Please. Have you ever seen a child so terrified that their whole world was falling apart? If this story touches your heart, please subscribe and comment below what you would do in Cameron's situation. Your support helps us share more stories of hope and kindness. Cameron didn't hesitate. I'll bring her. I'll follow the ambulance and bring her daughter. The paramedics looked at him skeptically. Are you family? No, but look at her. She has no one else right now. I'm not leaving this child alone in an airport. His tone left no room for argument. One of the paramedics nodded slowly. Mercy General. Emergency entrance. They'll need to verify guardianship, but thank you for helping. They wheeled the stretcher away quickly, the woman's yellow dress a splash of color against the white sheets. Hope watched her mother disappear around the corner, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. Cameron knelt down again, looking Hope directly in the eyes. Listen to me very carefully. We're going to go to the hospital right now. We're going to make sure your mom gets the best doctors, the best care, everything she needs. But I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Hope stared at him for a long moment. She was weighing whether to trust a complete stranger, calculating odds that no 6-year-old should have to consider. Finally, she nodded and slipped her small hand into his larger one. Okay, Mr. Cameron. Just Cameron is fine. Do you have any bags? Were you checking luggage? 2 bags. Mom already checked them. They were going to Florida. Hope's voice was hollow now, shock setting in. Okay. We'll worry about that later. Right now, let's get to your mom. Cameron scooped up his briefcase with his free hand and led Hope toward the exit. His mind was already working through logistics. Hospital bills. Insurance. Guardianship questions. His missed flight to Tokyo seemed like a distant memory now, completely irrelevant. They walked quickly through the terminal. Hope had to jog to keep up with his long strides, so Cameron slowed down. Other travelers stared at them, this well-dressed businessman holding hands with a crying child, but Cameron ignored them all. Nothing mattered except getting this little girl to her mother. His driver was waiting outside in the black sedan as always. The man's eyes widened when he saw Cameron with a child. Change of plans, Marcus, Cameron said, using the name before remembering he shouldn't. Actually, what's your name? I'm sorry, I should know this. It's Thomas, sir. Thomas? We need to get to Mercy General Hospital immediately. Emergency entrance. Fast but safe. Thomas didn't ask questions. He simply opened the back door. Cameron helped Hope into the car and climbed in after her. The little girl sat on the leather seat, looking tiny and lost. Her red dress stood out against the black interior. As the car pulled away from the curb, Hope suddenly turned to Cameron. Why are you helping us? You don't even know us. It was a fair question. A logical question. Why was he doing this? He had a company to run, meetings to attend, a jet waiting to be rescheduled. He had 1,000 reasons to call social services and walk away. Because you asked me to, Cameron said simply. And because it's the right thing to do. Hope considered this answer, then leaned against his arm. She was so small, so fragile. Her breathing hitched with leftover sobs. Cameron put his arm around her shoulders and felt her relax slightly. My mom always says there are good people in the world. She says when things get hard, look for the helpers. Are you a helper, Cameron? I'm going to try to be. The drive to Mercy General took 12 minutes. 12 minutes during which Cameron made 3 phone calls. The first was to his assistant, canceling all meetings for the next 2 days. The second was to his lawyer, asking about temporary guardianship procedures in emergencies. The third was to the hospital administrator, who happened to be on the board of a charity Cameron funded heavily. That call ensured that Hope's mother would get immediate attention from the best doctors available. Money couldn't buy everything, but it could buy access. And right now, access to excellent medical care was exactly what this family needed. When they arrived at the emergency entrance, Hope jumped out of the car before it fully stopped. Cameron followed quickly, keeping pace with her as she ran through the automatic doors. The emergency room was controlled chaos, nurses moving efficiently, patients in various states of distress waiting in chairs. My mom. Where's my mom? They brought her in an ambulance. Hope called out to the nearest nurse. The nurse, a kind-faced woman with gray hair, knelt down. What's your mom's name, honey? Destiny. Destiny Wright. She wasn't waking up. Where is she? The nurse looked at Cameron questioningly. He stepped forward, keeping his hand on Hope's shoulder. I'm Cameron West. I was with them at the airport when Mrs. Wright collapsed. I brought her daughter here. The ambulance should have arrived about 10 minutes ago. Recognition flashed in the nurse's eyes. She'd clearly received a call about his earlier phone conversation with the administrator. Mr. West, yes. Right this way. Here. Mrs. Wright is in exam room 4. Dr. Patterson is with her now. Hope tried to run ahead, but Cameron held her back gently. Slow down, sweetheart. Let's see what the doctor says first. They followed the nurse through a maze of hallways. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and floor cleaner. Machines beeped from behind curtains. Someone groaned in pain. Hope's hand tightened in Cameron's grip. Exam room 4 had a closed door. Through the small window, Cameron could see doctors and nurses working around a bed. Hope stood on her tiptoes, trying to see her mother. The door opened and a tall man in a white coat stepped out. Dr. Patterson, according to his name tag. He looked at Cameron first, then down at Hope. Are you family? He asked. I'm her daughter. That's my mom. Is she okay? Please tell me she's okay. Hope's voice cracked with desperation. Dr. Patterson knelt down to Hope's level, his expression gentle. Your mom is stable right now. That means she's not in immediate danger. But she's very sick, and we need to run some tests to figure out exactly what's wrong. She's still unconscious, but her vital signs are improving. Can I see her? Please? I need to see her. The doctor looked at Cameron again. And you are? A friend? Cameron said firmly. I'm helping. Is it okay if she sees her mother? Just for a moment? Dr. Patterson hesitated, then nodded. Just for a moment? And only you, young lady. Your friend will wait here. Hope looked back at Cameron with worried eyes. He squeezed her shoulder reassuringly. Go see your mom. I'll be right here. I'm not going anywhere. The little girl disappeared into the exam room. Through the window, Cameron watched as she approached the bed where her mother lay hooked up to various monitors and IVs. Hope reached out and touched her mother's hand gently as if afraid she might break her. Cameron turned to Dr. Patterson. What's really going on? Severe exhaustion combined with dehydration and malnutrition. Her body basically shut down. When was the last time she had a full meal or a decent night's sleep? I don't know. Her daughter said she works 3 jobs. Dr. Patterson sighed heavily. That explains it. She's been running on empty for too long. We're hydrating her now and running blood work to check for other complications. She'll likely wake up in a few hours, but she needs rest. Real rest. At least a week, maybe more. Will she be okay? Physically? Yes, with proper care and rest. But... The doctor paused, choosing his words carefully. Between you and me, Mr. West, I see this a lot. Single parents working multiple jobs, pushing themselves past all reasonable limits, trying to provide for their kids. The body can only take so much before it breaks down. She's lucky she collapsed in an airport where help was immediate. This could have been much worse. Cameron felt anger rise in his chest. Not at the woman, but at a system that forced mothers to work 3 jobs just to survive. At a world where exhaustion was worn like a badge of honor instead of recognized as a cry for help. She'll have the best care available, Cameron said quietly. Whatever she needs. I'll make sure of it. Dr. Patterson studied him curiously. You're not family and you just met them today? That's correct. Then why? Cameron looked through the window at Hope, who was now sitting in a chair beside her mother's bed, holding her hand and talking softly. The little girl's red dress was wrinkled, her curls messy, her face streaked with dried tears. But she was there, being brave, exactly as he'd asked her to be. Because someone needed help, Cameron answered. And I was there. The waiting room chairs were uncomfortable, designed more for function than comfort. Cameron had been sitting in one for 3 hours now, watching Hope alternate between dozing against his shoulder and jumping up every time a nurse walked by. It was nearly midnight. The airport encounter felt like days ago instead of hours. Cameron's phone buzzed constantly with messages from his office, his family, his business partners. He ignored them all. Cameron? Hope's small voice broke the silence. Are you married? The question surprised him. No, I'm not. Why do you ask? Because you're being really nice to us. My mom says only family is supposed to be this nice. Or people who love you. Well, sometimes strangers can be kind too. That's what makes the world a better place. Hope thought about this for a moment, her young face serious. My dad left when I was a baby. Mom says he couldn't handle being a parent. Do you think that's true? Cameron's chest tightened. What do you say to a child asking about abandonment? I think Some people aren't ready to be parents. It's not your fault. It's never the child's fault. That's what Mom says too. She says we're better off without him anyway. We're a team. Just us two. Hope's voice wobbled. But what if she doesn't wake up? What happens to me then? She's going to wake up, Hope? Dr. Patterson said so. But what if she doesn't? Cameron pulled the little girl closer. Then we'll figure it out. Together. But your mom is strong. She's going to be okay. A nurse approached them, her green scrubs bright under the fluorescent lights. Hope, right? Hope jumped up. Yes, that's me. Is my mom awake? Not yet, sweetheart, but her numbers are looking much better. She's responding to treatment. Dr. Patterson thinks she'll wake up in the next few hours. The nurse smiled warmly. Are you hungry? The cafeteria is closed, but I can get you something from the vending machine. I'm okay, Hope said quietly. She hasn't eaten since lunch, Cameron interjected. At the airport before everything happened. She needs food. The nurse nodded. I'll bring some crackers and juice. What about you, Mr. West? Can I get you anything? Coffee would be great. Thank you. After the nurse left, Cameron turned to Hope. When your mom wakes up, she's going to want to know that you took care of yourself. That means eating even when you're worried. Did your mom teach you that? She did. My mother always said that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can't help others if you don't help yourself first. Your mom sounds smart. She was. She passed away 5 years ago. Hope's eyes widened. I'm sorry. That must make you really sad. Sometimes. But I remember all the good things she taught me. That helps. The nurse returned with a small packet of crackers, a juice box, and a steaming cup of coffee. Hope nibbled on the crackers without enthusiasm, but she ate them. Cameron sipped the hospital coffee, which tasted exactly as terrible as expected. Mr. West. A different voice called from across the waiting room. A woman in business casual clothing approached with a clipboard. I'm Jennifer Torres from Patient Services. I need to ask you some questions about Mrs. Wright's insurance and payment information. Cameron stood, keeping Hope close. What do you need to know? Does Mrs. Wright have health insurance? We haven't been able to locate any cards in her belongings. She probably doesn't, Hope said softly. She told me insurance is too expensive. She said we just have to be really careful not to get sick. Jennifer Torres wrote something on her clipboard, her expression neutral but her eyes sympathetic. I see. Well, the emergency treatment is federally mandated, but ongoing care and the hospital stay will require payment arrangements. Do you know if Mrs. Wright has any assets or savings? She works 3 jobs just to pay rent, Hope whispered. She doesn't have extra money. That's why we only go to the doctor when it's really, really bad. Cameron felt that anger return sharper this time. He pulled out his wallet and handed Jennifer Torres his black credit card. Put all of Mrs. Wright's bills on this card. Everything. Treatment, medications, hospital stay, follow-up care. Whatever she needs. Jennifer stared at the card, then at him. Mr. West, hospital bills can be quite expensive. Are you sure? Completely sure. And I want her transferred to a private room as soon as one is available. Is Dr. Patterson the best doctor you have for this kind of case? He's excellent, one of our top emergency physicians. Then I want him to personally oversee her care, along with whatever specialists he recommends. Money is not an issue. Her health is the only priority. Jennifer Torres looked between Cameron and Hope, clearly trying to understand their relationship. I'll need some additional paperwork filled out. And we'll need Mrs. Wright's consent for billing once she wakes up. We'll handle that when she's conscious. For now, just make sure she gets everything she needs. After Jennifer left, Hope tugged on Cameron's sleeve. That's too much money. My mom won't like it. She always says we don't take charity. It's not charity, Hope. It's help. There's a difference. Sometimes people need help and sometimes people are in a position to give it. That's how the world works best. But you don't even know us. I'm getting to know you now, aren't I? Hope smiled a little, the first real smile Cameron had seen from her all evening. I guess so. Thank you, Cameron. You're really nice. You're welcome, sweetheart. They settled back into the uncomfortable chairs. Cameron checked his watch. Almost 1 in the morning. Hope needed real sleep, not catnaps in a waiting room. But he knew she wouldn't leave her mother, and honestly, he didn't want to leave either. Something about this situation felt important, like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Around 2 in the morning, a janitor came through mopping the floors. The rhythmic swish of the mop was almost hypnotic. Hope had finally fallen into a deeper sleep, curled up across 2 chairs with her head in Cameron's lap. He draped his suit jacket over her like a blanket. His phone buzzed again. This time it was his brother, Richard. Cameron hesitated, then answered quietly. Kim, what the hell is going on? Your assistant said you canceled everything, including the Tokyo deal. That's a $40 million contract. Something came up. Something came up? Are you sick? Injured? What could possibly be more important than that deal? A little girl needed help. Her mother collapsed at the airport. Silence on the other end. Then, you're joking. I'm not. Cameron, you don't even know these people. Why are you still there? Call social services and let them handle it. Her daughter has no one else. The mother's unconscious. I'm not leaving a 6-year-old alone in a hospital. You're not responsible for every stranger's problems. This is insane. You have responsibilities, commitments. Right now, this is my responsibility. Cameron's voice was firm. I'll reschedule Tokyo. They'll understand. They won't understand. $40 million, Cam. Think about what you're doing. I'm thinking about a little girl who's terrified her mother might die. I'm thinking about a woman who worked herself sick trying to provide for her daughter. I'm thinking that maybe, for once, money isn't the most important thing in the room. Richard sighed heavily. You sound like Mom. Good. She raised us right. Fine. Do what you need to do. But the board won't be happy. The board will survive. Thanks for calling, Richard. Cameron hung up and looked down at Hope. She was still sleeping, her face peaceful now. In sleep, she looked even younger, more vulnerable. He thought about his own childhood, growing up with every advantage, never worrying about money or security. This child worried about her mother being able to afford insurance. The contrast was stark and uncomfortable. At 3:30 in the morning, Dr. Patterson finally returned. He looked tired but satisfied. Mr. West? Mrs. Wright is waking up. Cameron gently shook Hope's shoulder. Hope, wake up, sweetheart. Your mom is waking up. Hope's eyes flew open. She was on her feet instantly, looking at Dr. Patterson with desperate hope. Can I see her? Please? Yes, but I need to prepare you first. Your mom has tubes and wires attached to her. It might look scary, but they're all helping her get better. She's going to be very confused and probably very tired. Don't be upset if she doesn't make complete sense at first, okay? Okay. I just need to see her. They followed Dr. Patterson through the quiet corridors. Night shift nurses looked up as they passed, their expressions sympathetic. The hospital felt different at night, more intimate somehow, like a secret world operating while everyone else slept. Mrs. Wright's room was at the end of the hall. Dr. Patterson opened the door slowly. Mrs. Wright? You have visitors. Hope rushed to the bedside. Mom? Mom, it's me. The woman in the bed turned her head slowly. Her eyes were unfocused at first, struggling to make sense of her surroundings. Then she saw Hope and her whole face changed. Baby? What? Where are we? Her voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. We're at the hospital, Mom. You fell down at the airport. You wouldn't wake up. I was so scared. Hope's voice broke on the last word. Destiny Wright tried to sit up but winced. Dr. Patterson gently pressed her back down. Mrs. Wright, you need to stay still. You've had a severe medical episode. Do you remember anything? I remember, we were at the gate. I felt dizzy. Then nothing. Her eyes found Cameron standing near the doorway. Who are you? That's Cameron. He helped me, Mom. When you fell down, I ran to him and he called the ambulance and brought me here and he stayed with me the whole time. He wouldn't leave me alone. Hope spoke quickly, the words tumbling over each other. Destiny looked at Cameron for a long moment, and he saw her trying to process everything. Here was her daughter, safe and cared for, with a complete stranger who apparently spent hours at a hospital with them. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for taking care of my daughter. You're welcome, Cameron said simply. He stayed near the door, giving them space. Dr. Patterson checked the monitors. Mrs. Wright, I need to be very direct with you. You collapsed from severe exhaustion, dehydration, and malnutrition. Your body completely shut down. If this had happened somewhere without immediate medical access, the outcome could have been very different. You're going to need to stay here for several days while we monitor you and get your strength back. I can't stay. I have to work. I have bills. Destiny's voice was panicked. Mom, you have to stay. You have to get better. Hope gripped her mother's hand tightly. Sweetheart, we can't afford this. Do you understand? A hospital stay costs thousands of dollars. We don't have insurance. That's taken care of, Cameron said quietly from the doorway. Destiny's eyes snapped to him. What do you mean, taken care of? Your bills are covered. All of them. Treatment, medication, the room, everything. You don't need to worry about money right now. You need to focus on getting better. No. Absolutely not. I don't accept charity from strangers. Despite her weakness, Destiny's voice was firm. It's not charity, it's help, Hope said, echoing Cameron's earlier words. Cameron says sometimes people need help and sometimes people can give it. That's okay, isn't it, Mom? Destiny looked at her daughter, then back at Cameron. He could see the pride warring with desperation in her eyes. The fierce independence of someone who'd fought hard for everything she had, conflicting with the reality that she genuinely needed help. I'll pay you back, she said finally. Every penny. I don't know how long it will take, but I'll pay you back. We can discuss that when you're feeling better, Cameron said. He didn't want to argue with her right now, not when she was barely conscious and clearly overwhelmed. Dr. Patterson cleared his throat. Mrs. Wright, I strongly recommend you accept the help being offered. Your daughter needs her mother healthy. That's what matters most right now. Destiny closed her eyes and tears leaked from the corners. I'm so tired. I know, the doctor said gently. That's why you need to rest. Let the medicine work. Let your body heal. Everything else can wait. Hope climbed carefully onto the bed, curling up next to her mother. Destiny wrapped her arm around her daughter, holding her close. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry I scared you. It's okay, Mom. You're okay now. That's what matters. Cameron watched them together and felt something shift in his chest. This was what mattered. Not business deals or board meetings or private jets. This moment, this connection, this love between a mother and daughter. This was real. Dr. Patterson gestured for Cameron to step into the hallway. Once outside, he spoke quietly. That's an incredibly kind thing you're doing, Mr. West. But I hope you understand what you're getting into. Mrs. Wright's recovery will take time, and someone will need to care for her daughter during that process. Do you know if she has any family? Hope said there's a grandmother in Florida, but I don't know any details. We'll need to contact her. In the meantime, what's the plan for tonight? The little girl needs proper sleep. Cameron looked back through the door at Hope, already dozing against her mother. Let her stay. Can you bring in a cot or something comfortable? She won't leave her mother, and honestly, Mrs. Wright probably heals better with her daughter nearby. And you? I'll stay too. Just in case they need anything. Dr. Patterson smiled. You're a good man, Mr. West. We need more people like you in the world. After the doctor left, Cameron returned to the room quietly. A nurse brought in a reclining chair and positioned it near the bed. Cameron settled into it, watching mother and daughter sleep peacefully together. His phone buzzed one more time. A text from his assistant. Tokyo is rescheduled for next month. They weren't happy, but they understand. Board meeting moved to Friday. Get some rest. Cameron smiled and turned off his phone. Rest sounded good. Really good. He leaned back in the chair and closed his eyes, listening to the steady beep of the heart monitor, the soft breathing of hope and destiny. For the first time in years, Cameron West felt like he was doing exactly what he was meant to be doing. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Tomorrow they'd have to figure out logistics, contact family, make plans. But tonight everyone was safe. Tonight they could rest. And that was enough. Morning light filtered through the hospital room's thin curtains, painting everything in shades of pale yellow. Cameron woke with a stiff neck and the realization that luxury hotel beds had spoiled him for sleeping in chairs. He stretched carefully, trying not to wake Hope, who was still curled up next to her mother. Destiny was awake, staring at the ceiling. When she noticed Cameron stirring, she turned her head slightly. How long have you been awake? Cameron asked quietly. An hour maybe. The nurses came in earlier to check my vitals. Hope didn't even move. Destiny's voice was stronger today, less hoarse. I've been thinking. About why a stranger would spend the night in a hospital chair for people he doesn't know. About what you want from us. Cameron sat up straighter. I don't want anything from you, Mrs. Wright. It's destiny. And everyone wants something. Nobody does this much for nothing. Maybe I'm just someone who helps when help is needed. Destiny studied him, her dark eyes sharp despite her exhaustion. You're wearing a suit that probably costs more than my monthly rent. Your watch could pay my bills for a year. You're not just some good Samaritan. So who are you really, Cameron? I'm someone who missed his flight and was in the right place at the right time. That's all. I Googled you. Destiny gestured to her phone on the bedside table. Cameron West, CEO of West Industries. Net worth over $2 billion. You own half the commercial real estate in the city. You were supposed to be in Tokyo for a major deal yesterday. Cameron smiled slightly. Looks like you've been busy. I need to know who my daughter has been trusting. Who's paying my hospital bills? A billionaire showing up to help random people at an airport? That doesn't make sense. People like you don't do things like this. Maybe they should. That's not an answer. Cameron stood and walked to the window, looking out at the city waking up below. My mother died 5 years ago from cancer. The last 6 months were brutal. Hospital after hospital, treatment after treatment. My father had already passed, so it was just me and my brother taking care of her. One night, very late, I was sitting in a hospital chair just like that one. I was exhausted, scared, angry at the world. A janitor came in to empty the trash. Old man, probably in his 70s, still working night shifts. Cameron paused, remembering. He saw me sitting there and he said, "Son, the hardest thing about hospitals isn't the sickness. It's the loneliness. Nobody should go through the hard times alone." Then he sat with me for 30 minutes just talking about life, about his own family, about nothing important. But it helped. It really helped. He didn't have to do that. He was just being kind. Destiny was silent, listening. When Hope ran up to me yesterday, terrified and desperate, I thought about that janitor. About how much it meant that someone was kind when I needed it most. So I decided to be that person for your daughter. That's the whole story. No hidden agenda. No expectations. You expect me to believe you're just naturally this generous? You can believe whatever you want. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I just want to help. Why? Because I can. Because Hope needed someone. Because the world is better when people help each other. Cameron turned back to face her. Look, I know this makes you uncomfortable. I know you're independent and proud and you've probably had to fight for everything you have. But right now, you're in a hospital bed because you pushed yourself too hard trying to do everything alone. Maybe it's okay to accept help sometimes. Destiny looked at her sleeping daughter, her expression softening. I've been on my own with Hope since she was 6 months old. Her father left when things got hard. My family, they didn't approve of my choices, so they cut me off. It's been just us for 6 years. I learned early that depending on people leads to disappointment. The only person I can truly count on is myself. That sounds exhausting. It is. Destiny's voice cracked slightly. It really is. I work 3 jobs because one doesn't cover rent and food and childcare. I haven't had a full night's sleep in years. I can't remember the last time I went to a doctor for myself instead of Hope. Yesterday was supposed to be our first vacation in 5 years. Just a weekend in Florida to see my grandmother. And I couldn't even stay conscious long enough to get on the plane. Cameron moved closer to the bed. You don't have to do it alone anymore. At least not right now. Let me help. Let the doctors help. Focus on getting better. Everything else can wait. And then what? I get better, leave the hospital, and go back to my 3 jobs? How does this change anything long term? I don't know yet. But we'll figure something out. One step at a time. Hope stirred, her eyes blinking open. She saw her mother awake and alert, and her whole face lit up. Mom, you look better. I feel better, baby. Thanks to you and your new friend here. Cameron's the best, Mom. He stayed all night with me. He didn't leave even once. And he told me stories and made sure I ate crackers even though I wasn't hungry. Hope sat up, her red dress wrinkled from sleep. Are you really going to be okay? I'm going to be fine, sweetheart. The doctors say I need to rest here for a few days, but I'll be good as new soon. A knock on the door interrupted them. Dr. Patterson entered with a clipboard and a kind smile. Good morning, everyone. Mrs. Wright, how are you feeling? Tired, but better than yesterday. That's good to hear. I have your test results back. The good news is there's no underlying disease or organ damage. The bad news is your body was severely depleted. Your iron levels are dangerously low. You were borderline anemic. Your blood pressure was in the danger zone. Simply put, you were running on empty. I'll do better. I'll rest more. It's not just about rest, Mrs. Wright. It's about nutrition, proper sleep, stress management. You can't work 3 jobs and expect your body to keep up indefinitely. You're 32 years old. You should be in the prime of your health. Instead, your body looks like it belongs to someone 20 years older. Destiny flinched at his words. Hope grabbed her mother's hand protectively. Dr. Patterson's expression softened. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm trying to be realistic. You have a daughter who needs you. That means taking care of yourself so you can be there for her. Whatever it takes to reduce your stress and workload, you need to do it. That's easier said than done, doctor. I understand. Which is why I'm prescribing at least 2 weeks of rest after you leave here. No work. No stress. Just healing. And I want you to follow up with a nutritionist and possibly a therapist to address the underlying issues. After Dr. Patterson left, the room fell into uncomfortable silence. Finally, Cameron spoke. What are your 3 jobs? Destiny sighed. I work the front desk at a gym from 6 to noon. Then I do data entry from home from 1 to 5. Then I clean offices downtown from 7 to midnight. It pays enough to cover rent, food, and Hope's after-school program. Barely. And you're exhausted all the time. Of course I'm exhausted. But what choice do I have? Rent is $1,500 a month for our small apartment. Food is another $500. Childcare and Hope's program is $400. Then there's utilities, transportation, clothes, school supplies. It adds up fast. I don't have room for error. Cameron pulled out his phone. What if I offered you a job? 1 job during regular business hours, that pays what you're making from all 3 combined. Doing what? I don't have a college degree. I don't have any special skills. I'm just someone who works hard. West Industries always needs good people. People who are reliable, dedicated, hardworking. I'm sure we can find something that fits your abilities. My assistant can set up interviews when you're feeling better. You're offering me a job at your company? Just like that. Why not? You clearly know how to work hard. You're responsible, you're punctual if you're holding down 3 jobs, and you care about quality if you've kept all those positions. Those are the traits I look for in employees. This is too much. First the hospital bills, now a job offer. I can't accept all this from you. Mom, why not? Hope asked, confused. Cameron wants to help. Isn't that good? Baby, it's complicated. It's not complicated, Cameron said firmly. You need help. I can provide it. There's nothing complicated about kindness. And honestly, this helps me too. I need good employees and you need good employment. It's a fair exchange. Destiny looked torn, pride warring with practicality. If I say yes, this is strictly professional. A job, not charity. I'll work hard, earn my pay. Nothing is handed to me. I wouldn't expect anything less. And I still pay you back for the hospital bills. We set up a payment plan or something. We can discuss that later. No, we discuss it now. I'm not moving forward unless we're clear on this. I don't take handouts. I don't take advantage of people's generosity. I pay my own way. Cameron respected her insistence, even if he disagreed. Fine. After you start working, we'll set up a very reasonable payment plan for the medical expenses. Deal? Destiny extended her hand. Cameron shook it, noticing how small her hand was in his, how work-worn her fingers were. This was someone who knew what real labor meant. Deal. And thank you, Cameron. Really. I still don't fully understand why you're doing this, but thank you. You're welcome. Hope bounced on the bed excitedly. Does this mean we can stay in our apartment? And I can keep going to my school? Yes, baby. Everything stays the same, just better. Mommy will have 1 job instead of 3. I'll be home more. We'll have more time together. And Cameron can visit us? Both adults looked at the little girl. She smiled hopefully at Cameron. If your mom is okay with that, sure. I'd like to visit. Of course he can visit, Destiny said, surprising herself. Maybe it was the exhaustion, or the medication, or just the relief of having some of her burden lifted. But suddenly the idea of this stranger becoming part of their lives didn't seem so strange. You've done so much for us. You're always welcome. A nurse brought in breakfast trays. Hospital food, bland and unappetizing, but Hope dug in like it was a feast. She was just happy to have her mother awake and talking. Cameron's phone rang. His assistant. He stepped into the hallway to take the call. Cameron, the board wants to meet today. They're upset about Tokyo and they want explanations. Tell them I'll be there Friday. Not before. They're not happy with that answer. They'll survive. Anything else? Your brother called 3 times. He says it's urgent. I'll call him back later. Listen, I need you to do something for me. Find an opening in our human resources department. Something entry-level that pays about $4,000 a month. Good hours, good benefits, room for advancement. For who? For someone who needs a chance. Someone who deserves better than what she's got. Can you do that? His assistant was quiet for a moment. You're serious about this whole thing, aren't you? Completely serious. Okay, I'll make it happen. Anything else? Yeah. Clear my schedule for the rest of the week. I need some time. Cameron, the board is going to lose their minds. Let them. This is more important. He hung up and returned to the room. Destiny and Hope were laughing at something on the small television mounted on the wall. Some cartoon with bright colors and silly voices. They looked happy, relaxed. The tightness around Destiny's eyes had eased. Cameron realized he didn't want to leave. Not yet. Maybe not for a while. Something about being here, in this ordinary hospital room with these extraordinary people, felt right. Felt important. He settled back into his chair and joined them in watching the cartoon. Hope explained the plot enthusiastically, her words tumbling over each other in her excitement. Destiny smiled at her daughter's joy, occasionally adding her own commentary. For the first time in years, Cameron wasn't thinking about profit margins or stock prices or business strategy. He was just here, present, enjoying a simple moment with people who were quickly becoming more than strangers. And it felt good. Really good. 3 days passed in the hospital. 3 days of doctors checking vitals, nurses bringing meals, and Hope entertaining everyone with her endless energy and questions. Cameron visited every morning and evening, spending hours in the uncomfortable chair that he'd somehow gotten used to. On the 4th morning, Dr. Patterson declared Destiny well enough to go home. Your levels are much better. Color's back in your face. Energy seems improved. But I'm serious about the rest, Mrs. Wright. 2 full weeks. No work. No stress. Sleep, eat proper meals, and let your body heal. I will. I promise. Hope was practically vibrating with excitement. We get to go home. Can we stop for ice cream on the way? Please? We'll see, baby. Destiny smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm. Then she looked at Cameron. Thank you for everything. Truly. I don't think I've said it enough, but thank you. You saved our lives. I'm just glad I was there when you needed help. Cameron stood and handed her a business card. That has my direct number and my assistant's contact information. Call if you need anything. And she'll be in touch about scheduling your interview for next week. Interview? For the position at West Industries. You didn't think I forgot, did you? Destiny took the card carefully like it might disappear. I'll be ready. A nurse arrived with a wheelchair. Hospital policy required it even though Destiny insisted she could walk. Hope skipped alongside as they made their way to the exit, chattering about everything she wanted to do now that her mom was better. Cameron's driver, Thomas, was waiting outside with the car. He opened the back door with a professional smile. This is too much, Destiny protested. We can take a bus. Nonsense. You just got out of the hospital. Let us drive you home. It's on the way. It wasn't really on the way to anywhere Cameron needed to go, but that didn't matter. Hope climbed into the car eagerly. Mom, the seats are so soft. And look, there's water bottles. Destiny shook her head but got in. Cameron sat in the front passenger seat, giving them space in the back. As Thomas pulled away from the hospital, Hope pressed her face to the window, watching the city pass by. Where do you live? Cameron asked. Riverside Apartments, Unit 203. It's about 20 minutes from here. Cameron knew the area. Working-class neighborhood, older buildings, nothing fancy but generally safe. He'd driven past it 100 times without really seeing it. Now he'd be visiting there regularly. The thought made him smile. When they arrived at Riverside Apartments, Cameron helped carry Hope inside while Destiny insisted she was fine to walk on her own. The building was exactly as he'd imagined. Weathered brick, narrow hallways, worn carpet. But it was clean and people's doors had welcome mats and decorations. People cared about this place even if it wasn't luxurious. Unit 203 was on the 2nd floor. Destiny unlocked the door and Hope rushed inside, immediately running to her room. Home, the little girl called out joyfully. The apartment was small. A combined living room and kitchen area, 1 bathroom visible down a short hallway, 2 bedrooms. But it was tidy and decorated with obvious care. Children's drawings covered the refrigerator. A small bookshelf held worn paperbacks and Hope's school projects. Photos of Hope at various ages filled the walls. It's not much, Destiny said quietly, but it's ours. It's nice. You can tell it's full of love. Hope bounded back out of her room carrying a stuffed elephant. Cameron, this is Mr. Snuffles. He's been here the whole time missing me and Mom. Can he meet you properly? Cameron knelt down seriously. Mr. Snuffles, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Hope giggled and made the elephant bow to Cameron. Destiny watched the interaction with a soft expression. Hope let Cameron leave. I'm sure he has important things to do. Actually, Cameron said slowly, an idea forming, I was wondering if you both might want some company today. Since the doctor said you need rest, maybe I could help? Order some groceries to be delivered, pick up any medications you need, that sort of thing. You've done enough already. Really. We'll be fine. I know you'll be fine. But I'd like to help anyway. Unless you'd prefer privacy? Destiny hesitated. Part of her wanted to maintain her independence, to prove she didn't need anyone. But another part, the tired part that had been running on empty for years, wanted to accept help. Wanted someone else to shoulder the burden for just a little while. Okay, she said finally. But only for today. Tomorrow we start figuring out normal life again. Deal. Cameron ordered groceries online, making sure to include fresh fruits, vegetables, proteins, and Hope's favorite snacks that she'd mentioned during their hospital visits. He called the pharmacy and arranged for Destiny's prescriptions to be delivered. He even contacted a cleaning service to come by the next day, though he didn't tell Destiny about that part yet. While he worked, Hope showed him every corner of the apartment. Her room with its pink walls and collection of stuffed animals. The kitchen where she helped her mom cook on weekends. The living room where they watched movies on their small television. This is my favorite spot, Hope said, pointing to the window seat. Mom put cushions here so I can read and look outside. Sometimes I see birds. That's a great spot. What kinds of birds? Little brown ones mostly. But once I saw a bright red one. Mom said it was a cardinal. She said cardinals are good luck. Your mom sounds very smart. She is. She knows everything. She helps me with homework and she can fix things when they break and she makes the best pancakes. She's the best mom ever. Cameron felt his chest tighten at the pure love in Hope's voice. She's lucky to have a daughter like you. I'm lucky to have her. That's why I got so scared at the airport. I thought she might go away like my dad did. But Mom would never leave me on purpose. She promised. No, she wouldn't. Your mom loves you very much. The groceries arrived around noon. Cameron helped put everything away while Destiny supervised from the couch, still following doctor's orders to rest. She kept trying to get up and help, and Cameron kept gently insisting she stay seated. I'm not used to this, Destiny admitted. Having someone take care of things. It feels strange. Get used to it at least for the next 2 weeks. Doctor's orders. You're very bossy for someone who's supposed to be a guest. I prefer the term helpfully insistent. Hope laughed from where she was organizing her stuffed animals by size. I like Cameron, Mom. Can he stay for lunch? Hope, Cameron probably has plans. Actually, I don't. I cleared my schedule for the week. So if you don't mind, I'd love to stay for lunch. I make a decent grilled cheese sandwich. Destiny looked like she wanted to protest, but Hope was already pulling Cameron toward the kitchen, chattering about how they had good cheese that Mom had bought before the trip. Cameron found himself cooking grilled cheese sandwiches in a tiny kitchen while a 6-year-old gave him detailed instructions on the proper cheese-to-bread ratio. Destiny watched from the couch, something unreadable in her expression. You're good with her, Destiny said when Hope ran to her room to get a drawing to show Cameron. She's an easy kid to be good with. She's smart, funny, kind. You've raised her well. I've tried. It's been hard doing it alone, but she's the reason I keep going. Every job, every exhausting day, it's all for her. She knows that. She talks about you like you hung the moon. Destiny's eyes got watery. That's all that matters then. That she knows she's loved. Hope returned with a picture of what appeared to be 3 people holding hands. One tall figure in blue, one medium figure in yellow, and one small figure in red. That's you, Mom, and me. Hope explained proudly. I drew it at school. The teacher said it was very good. It's beautiful, Hope. Cameron studied the picture, noticing the big smiles on all 3 figures. You can keep it if you want. Really? I'd be honored. Cameron took the drawing carefully. I'll put it in my office. You have an office? A big one? Pretty big, yes. Can I see it sometime? Hope, don't invite yourself places, Destiny chided gently. Actually, Cameron said, that's a great idea. Maybe next week after your mom's interview, you both could come see the office. I'll give you the full tour. Really? That would be so cool. Did you hear that, Mom? We get to see Cameron's office. Destiny smiled despite herself. We'll see, baby. Let's eat our lunch first. They sat at the small kitchen table, the 3 of them barely fitting. Cameron was used to dining in expensive restaurants with linen napkins and multiple courses. But this simple meal of grilled cheese sandwiches and apple slices felt more real, more meaningful. Hope talked nonstop throughout lunch, filling the silence with stories about school and her friends and her favorite television shows. Destiny added comments here and there, her exhaustion visible but her spirits lifted by being home. After lunch, Hope insisted on showing Cameron her favorite movie. They all squeezed onto the couch, Hope in the middle, and watched an animated film about a princess and a dragon who became friends. Cameron found himself actually enjoying it, mostly because of Hope's running commentary. Halfway through the movie, he noticed Destiny had fallen asleep, her head tilted back against the couch. The dark circles under her eyes were still prominent, testament to years of exhaustion. But her face was peaceful. "Mom's sleeping," Hope whispered. "She does that a lot. She's always so tired. That's going to get better now. She'll have more time to rest with her new job." "Is that really true? You're really going to give her a job?" "I promise. My assistant is setting it up right now. You're like a fairy godfather or something. Making wishes come true." Cameron laughed quietly. "I don't know about that. I'm just trying to help where I can." "Well, you're helping a lot. Thank you, Cameron." The little girl leaned against him, her attention returning to the movie. Cameron put his arm around her shoulders and realized how natural this felt. All right. He'd never considered himself particularly paternal. His life was work, travel, business deals. Children weren't part of the plan. But sitting here with Hope, watching a kid's movie while her mother slept peacefully nearby, Cameron felt something shift inside him. Something that felt like purpose. Like belonging. His phone buzzed silently in his pocket. Probably his brother or his assistant or the board members wanting updates. He ignored it. Whatever they needed could wait. This moment, this simple afternoon in a small apartment with people who were becoming more important to him with each passing hour, this couldn't wait. The movie ended with the princess and dragon saving the kingdom together. Hope clapped happily, then looked up at Cameron. "Do you think people can be friends even if they're really different? Like the princess and the dragon?" "I think the best friendships are between people who are different. They teach each other new things. Like you and me and Mom? We're different but we're friends." "Exactly like that." "Good. Because I want us to be friends forever." Cameron felt his throat tighten. "Me too, Hope. Me too." Destiny stirred and woke up, looking disoriented for a moment. Then she saw Cameron and Hope on the couch and smiled sleepily. "Did I miss the whole movie?" "Most of it," Hope admitted. "But that's okay. You needed to sleep. Cameron and I had fun watching it together." "I should probably get going," Cameron said, though he didn't really want to. "Let you both rest." "Okay. But you'll come back, right?" Hope's voice was suddenly anxious. "Of course I'll come back. I'll check in tomorrow to make sure your mom is following doctor's orders." "She won't. She's terrible at resting. You'll have to be really bossy with her." "Hope." Destiny laughed. "Don't tell him that." "It's true though, Mom. You never sit still." Cameron stood and grabbed his jacket. Destiny walked him to the door, moving slowly but steadily. "Thank you again, Cameron. For everything. For staying, for helping, for being so good to Hope. I still don't fully understand why you're doing all this, but I'm grateful. You don't have to understand it. Just accept it. And focus on getting better." "I will." "And I'll see you at the interview next week?" "You will. My assistant will call with the details." Cameron left the apartment and walked to his car. Thomas was waiting patiently, having spent the afternoon reading a book. "Back to your place, Mr. West?" "Yeah. Home." But as they drove away from Riverside Apartments, Cameron realized something. That small apartment, with its worn carpet and cramped rooms, had felt more like home in one afternoon than his luxury penthouse had felt in years. And that was a feeling worth exploring. Think about this. What if more people stopped to help instead of just recording? Before we continue, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Would you have done what Cameron did? Your engagement helps us keep sharing these uplifting stories. Monday morning arrived with bright sunshine and nervous energy. Destiny stood in front of her closet, staring at her limited wardrobe options. The interview at West Industries was in 2 hours and nothing felt right. "The blue dress," Hope said from the doorway. "You look really pretty in the blue dress." "You think so?" Destiny pulled out a simple blue dress she'd bought years ago for a job interview that hadn't worked out. "Definitely. Cameron likes blue. He wears it all the time. This interview isn't about what Cameron likes, baby. It's about me getting a job based on my skills." "But you want to look nice, right?" Destiny smiled at her daughter. "You're right. Blue it is." An hour later, Destiny stood outside the gleaming glass tower that housed West Industries. The building was at least 40 stories tall, all steel and windows reflecting the morning sky. People in expensive suits hurried in and out, everyone looking important and purposeful. For a moment, Destiny almost turned around. What was she doing here? She had a high school diploma and years of experience in jobs that didn't matter. What could she possibly offer a company like this? But then she thought of Hope, thought of the chance at a better life, and squared her shoulders. She'd survived 6 years as a single mother, working 3 jobs. She could survive one interview. The lobby was all marble and modern art. A receptionist sat behind a curved desk that probably cost more than Destiny's yearly rent. "Hi, I'm Destiny Wright. I have an interview at 10. The receptionist, a woman with perfect makeup and a crisp white blouse, smiled warmly. "Of course. We've been expecting you. Take the elevator to the 37th floor. Someone will meet you there." The elevator was faster than any Destiny had been in before. Her stomach dropped as they climbed higher and higher. When the doors opened, a woman in a green blazer was waiting. "Ms. Wright? I'm Patricia Chin, Director of Human Resources. Welcome to West Industries." They shook hands and Patricia led her down a hallway lined with glass-walled offices. People worked at standing desks, talked in conference rooms, moved with efficient purpose. "Mr. West speaks very highly of you," Patricia said as they walked. "He's personally asked me to find the right position for your skills." "He did?" "Yes. It's unusual for him to take such a direct interest in hiring, but he was quite insistent that we treat you well. You must have made quite an impression." Destiny wasn't sure how to respond to that. They entered a conference room with a view of the entire city spread out below. Destiny had never seen the city from this height before. It looked different up here. Cleaner. More organized. The interview lasted an hour. Patricia asked about Destiny's work history, her skills, her goals. Destiny was honest about everything, including her lack of higher education. But she emphasized her work ethic, her reliability, her ability to learn quickly. "I may not have fancy credentials," Destiny said, "but I show up on time, I work hard, and I don't quit when things get difficult. I've had to fight for everything I have. That makes me someone you can count on." Patricia smiled and made notes. "That's exactly the kind of attitude we value here. Mr. West built this company on hard work and determination. He respects people who have those qualities regardless of their background." After more questions and a tour of the facilities, Patricia led Destiny to another office. This one was larger with a real desk and computer and a window view. "How would you feel about a position in our customer relations department? You'd be handling client inquiries, coordinating between departments, making sure everyone has what they need. It requires organization, communication skills, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. Based on your experience managing multiple jobs and raising a daughter alone, I think you'd be perfect for it." "What's the salary?" $4,000 per month to start, with full benefits including health insurance, dental, vision, and a retirement plan. You'd work Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 with an hour for lunch. After 6 months, you'd be eligible for a raise based on performance." Destiny did the math in her head. $4,000 a month. That was almost what she made from all 3 of her previous jobs combined, and this was just one position with normal hours. With benefits, with time to actually see her daughter. "When can I start?" Patricia laughed. "I love your enthusiasm. How about next Monday? That gives you the rest of this week to rest, like Dr. Patterson ordered, and you can start fresh next week." "That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank Mr. West. He made this happen." They walked back to the elevators. Patricia gave Destiny a folder with new hire paperwork and information about benefits. "One more thing," Patricia said as the elevator arrived. "Mr. West asked me to let him know when your interview was done. He'd like to see you before you leave if you have time." "Of course. Where's his office?" "Top floor. Executive suite. Just tell the receptionist who you are." Destiny rode the elevator to the top floor, her heart pounding. The executive suite was even more impressive than the rest of the building. Quiet, elegant, with artwork that looked original and expensive. The receptionist, an older man with kind eyes, smiled when she gave her name. "Ah yes, Ms. Wright. Mr. West is expecting you. Right through that door." Cameron's office was huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows on 2 walls offered views of the entire city. The desk was large but not ostentatious. Bookshelves lined one wall. And there, pinned to a corkboard behind his desk, was Hope's drawing of the 3 of them holding hands. Cameron stood when she entered, smiling. He wore a dark blue suit, perfectly tailored. This was Cameron the CEO, different from the man who'd cooked grilled cheese in her tiny kitchen. But his smile was the same. Warm. Genuine. "How did it go?" he asked. "I got the job. I start Monday." "I'm glad." Patricia said you interviewed really well. She also said you personally requested this. That you insisted they treat me right. Cameron walked around his desk and leaned against it casually. "I wanted to make sure you had a fair chance. That's all." "That's not all though, is it? You created this position for me. You're still helping, still fixing things. Is that so bad?" Destiny struggled with her emotions. Part of her wanted to be angry at his interference. The independent part of her that had survived alone for 6 years bristled at being someone's charity case. But the practical part, the exhausted part, the part that had collapsed in an airport, was just grateful. "No," she said finally. "It's not bad. It's incredibly generous. I just want to make sure I earn this. That I'm not just given things because you feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for you, Destiny. I respect you. You've done an incredible job raising Hope alone, surviving against difficult odds. This job isn't charity. It's an opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. I'll work hard. I promise. I know you will." Cameron pulled out an envelope from his desk drawer. "One more thing. This is from the company. New employee welcome package." Destiny opened it and found a gift card to a clothing store. $500. "It's too much. It's standard for all new employees at your level. Professional wardrobe stipend. Everyone gets it." "Really? Really? Though I'll admit I may have increased the standard amount slightly. You deserve nice things, Destiny. Let yourself have them." Destiny felt tears threaten. Nobody had ever given her things without expecting something in return. Nobody had ever just wanted to help without ulterior motives. It was overwhelming. "Why are you doing all this?" The question came out as a whisper. Cameron moved closer, his expression serious. "Because I can. Because you need it. Because Hope deserves to have her mother healthy and happy. Because the world is better when people help each other. Take your pick." "It's more than that, though. I can tell." He was quiet for a moment, considering. "Maybe it is. Maybe I see something special in you and Hope. Maybe helping you makes me feel like I'm doing something meaningful with my wealth instead of just accumulating more of it. Maybe I'm selfish and this makes me feel good about myself." "You're not selfish." "Then maybe I'm just someone who recognizes good people when he meets them. And you, Destiny Wright, are good people." They stood there, close enough that Destiny could see the flecks of green in Cameron's blue eyes. Close enough that she could smell his cologne, something subtle and expensive. For a moment something passed between them. Something more than gratitude or kindness. Something that made Destiny's breath catch. Then Cameron stepped back, breaking the moment. "Hope wanted me to tell you that she's expecting a full report on the office. Apparently I promised her a tour next time." Destiny laughed, relieved by the return to lightness. "She's been talking about it all week. You'd think she was visiting a theme park instead of an office building. Well, bring her by anytime. I'll show her everything. Maybe she can even sit in my chair and pretend to be CEO for a day. She'd love that. Fair warning though, she'd probably reorganize your whole company around stuffed animals and cartoon characters. Honestly, that might be an improvement." They walked together to the elevator. In the hallway, employees nodded to Cameron respectfully. He greeted several by name, asked about their projects, remembered details about their lives. This was a man who cared about his people, Destiny realized. Not just profits and spreadsheets but actual human beings. "Thank you, Cameron," Destiny said as they waited for the elevator. "For all of it. The hospital bills, the job, the kindness to Hope. You've changed our lives." "You're welcome. And Destiny? You're going to do great here. I know it." The elevator arrived and Destiny stepped in. As the doors closed, she saw Cameron watching her, that same unreadable expression on his face. Something warm and complicated. On the ride down, Destiny looked at her reflection in the polished elevator doors. The woman looking back at her seemed different. Lighter somehow. More hopeful. Like maybe things really could get better. Her phone rang. Hope's after-school program calling. "Hi, this is Destiny." "Hi, Ms. Wright, it's Rachel from Sunshine Care. Just wanted to let you know Hope's had a great day. She's been telling everyone about your new job. She's very excited." "Thank you, Rachel. I'll pick her up in 30 minutes. When Destiny collected Hope later, the little girl ran to her with a drawing. Another picture, this time of a tall building with lots of windows. "That's Cameron's office. I drew it even though I haven't seen it yet. Do you think it looks like this?" "Actually, it looks a lot like that. You're a good artist." On the bus ride home, Hope chattered about her day while Destiny held the envelope with the gift card. $500 for clothes. A job with good pay and benefits. A chance at a normal life. "Mom? Are you crying?" Hope's voice was concerned. "Happy tears, baby. Just happy tears." "Because of the new job?" "Because of a lot of things. Because we're going to be okay. Better than okay. We're going to be good." Hope hugged her tightly. "We're always good when we're together. But having more time together will be even better." That night, after Hope was asleep, Destiny sat at their small kitchen table with a cup of tea. She pulled out the paperwork from West Industries and read through everything carefully. Health insurance that started immediately. Dental coverage. Vision. A retirement plan. Paid time off. Things she'd never had before. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Hope said you passed your interview with flying colors. She also said to remind you to follow doctor's orders and rest this week. See you Monday. See. Destiny smiled and saved Cameron's number in her phone. Then she texted back. Thank you for everything. You've given us a gift beyond measure. I won't let you down. The response came quickly. You couldn't let me down if you tried. Sleep well, Destiny. She stared at that message for a long time. Something in those words felt significant. Like they meant more than the simple sentence conveyed. Destiny thought about Cameron's office, about the drawing Hope had made pinned behind his desk, about the way he'd looked at her before the elevator doors closed. She thought about how natural it felt when he was around, how Hope lit up in his presence, how she herself felt different when he was near. This was dangerous territory. Cameron West was a billionaire. She was a single mother who'd been cleaning offices a week ago. They lived in different worlds. Getting emotionally involved would be foolish. But as she climbed into bed that night, Destiny couldn't stop thinking about his smile, his kindness, the way he'd stayed at the hospital for 3 days with people he barely knew. Couldn't stop remembering how his presence made everything feel safer, more manageable. Maybe, just maybe, different worlds could sometimes collide in beautiful ways. She'd have to be careful. Guard her heart. Remember that this was about gratitude and friendship, nothing more. But as she drifted off to sleep, Destiny dreamed of blue eyes and gentle smiles and a future that suddenly seemed full of possibilities she'd never dared to imagine before. Monday morning felt like the first day of school. Destiny dressed in a new navy blue blouse and black slacks she'd bought with the gift card. Simple, professional, appropriate. Hope had insisted on picking out her earrings, small silver hoops that sparkled in the light. You look like a businesswoman, Mom, Hope declared proudly. Like the ladies on TV. Thank you, baby. Now you be good at school today, okay? I'll pick you up at 4. 4? Really? That's so early. Hope's face lit up. At her old jobs, Destiny rarely picked Hope up before 6, and some days not until 7 when the after-school program closed. Really? We'll have time to play before dinner. This is the best thing ever. Destiny dropped Hope at school and rode the bus to West Industries. She arrived 15 minutes early, nervous energy making her walk faster. The building looked even more impressive in the morning light. Patricia met her in the lobby and walked her through orientation. Badge access, email setup, introduction to the team. The customer relations department had 8 people, all friendly and welcoming. You'll be working closely with Michael, Patricia explained, gesturing to a tall man with glasses and a green tie. He'll train you on our systems and processes. Welcome aboard, Michael said, shaking her hand. I hear good things about you. You do. Cameron doesn't personally recommend people often. When he does, we pay attention. Destiny's workspace was a cubicle with a computer, phone, and small personal space for photos or decorations. It wasn't huge, but it was hers. Her own desk. Her own chair. A space that belonged to her. She immediately put up the picture Hope had drawn of Cameron's office building. The morning flew by in a blur of training. Computer systems, phone protocols, client databases. There was a lot to learn, but Destiny absorbed it quickly. Years of juggling 3 jobs had taught her to adapt fast. At noon, Michael suggested lunch in the company cafeteria. Destiny had packed a sandwich, but he insisted she try the cafeteria at least once. It's subsidized by the company. Everything is reasonably priced and actually pretty good. The cafeteria was on the 20th floor with windows overlooking the river. Destiny got a salad and soup for less than she'd spend at a fast food place. They sat at a table near the windows. So how do you know Cameron? Michael asked casually. Destiny wasn't sure how to answer. We met at the airport. Kind of an unusual situation. He's a good guy. Tough boss, high standards but fair. He actually cares about employees. Some CEOs just see numbers. Cameron sees people. That's been my experience too. After lunch, Destiny returned to training. By 3 o'clock, her head was spinning with information, but she felt good. Competent. Like she could really do this job. At 4:15 she clocked out and headed to Hope's school. Being able to leave at a normal time to pick up her daughter while it was still light outside felt like luxury. Hope ran to her across the playground, her red backpack bouncing. Mom, you're here. You're really here. I told you I would be. I know, but I couldn't believe it all day. Everyone was jealous that my mom gets to pick me up so early. They walked to the bus stop hand in hand, Hope chattering about her day. Destiny listened, really listened, without the exhaustion that used to make everything feel like too much. At home, they had time to play before dinner. Hope set up her stuffed animals for a tea party and insisted Destiny join. They sat on the floor with plastic cups and imaginary tea, having ridiculous conversations about elephant fashion and bear politics. This was what she'd been missing. Not just time with Hope, but quality time. Energy to be present, to play, to enjoy her daughter instead of just surviving the day. Destiny's phone buzzed with a text. Cameron. How was day one? She smiled and typed back. Good. A lot to learn, but I think I can handle it. I know you can. Hope behaving. She's making me have tea with stuffed animals. So yes. That sounds very important. Glad you're taking it seriously. Destiny laughed out loud. Hope looked up curiously. What's funny, Mom? Cameron's being silly. Can he come over? I want to show him my new library book. Destiny hesitated. Was it appropriate to invite her boss to their apartment? Then again, Cameron had already been here. He'd cooked in her kitchen. They were past normal boss-employee boundaries. She texted, Hope wants to know if you'd like to come over. No pressure if you're busy. The response came immediately. I'd love to. There in 30 minutes. Should I bring dinner? You don't have to. Pizza okay? Hope will lose her mind with excitement. Exactly 30 minutes later, Cameron knocked on the door. He'd changed from his suit to jeans and a blue button-down shirt, looking more like the man who'd helped them at the hospital than the CEO in his office. Hope threw the door open. Cameron. Mom said you're bringing pizza. Large pepperoni. I hope that works. It's perfect. Hope grabbed his hand and pulled him inside. Come see my new book. It's about a girl who finds a magic garden. While Hope showed Cameron her book, Destiny set the table. This was becoming comfortable, she realized. Having Cameron here, sharing meals, being part of their evenings. Should feel strange. Instead it felt natural. They ate pizza and Hope told them both about her day in elaborate detail. A boy in her class had brought a frog for show and tell. Her teacher had read them a story about space. She'd gotten a gold star on her math worksheet. A gold star? That's impressive, Cameron said seriously. I'm good at math. Mom helps me practice. Your mom is good at lots of things. She had a great first day at work today. She did. Hope looked at Destiny with pride. Did you like your new job, Mom? I did, baby. Everyone was very nice and the work is interesting. After dinner, Hope insisted they all watch a movie together. They squeezed onto the couch again, this becoming their tradition. About halfway through, Hope fell asleep between them, her head on Cameron's shoulder. She's out, Cameron whispered. Must have been a big day. Every day is big when you're 6. Destiny carefully lifted Hope and carried her to bed. When she returned, Cameron was cleaning up the pizza boxes. You don't have to do that. I know. But I'm here, so I might as well help. They worked together in the small kitchen, moving around each other easily. Destiny washed the few dishes while Cameron dried. It was domestic and simple and somehow perfect. Thank you for coming over, Destiny said as they finished. Hope loves having you here. What about you? Do you mind me being here? Destiny turned to face him, drying her hands on a towel. No, I don't mind. Actually, it's nice. The apartment feels less empty when you're here. It's been just you and Hope for a long time. 6 years. Since her father left. I'm not used to having someone else around. But with you it doesn't feel intrusive. It feels right. Cameron stepped closer. Destiny, I need to be honest with you. When I helped you at the airport it was just about being kind. About doing the right thing. But now? Now what? Now I look forward to seeing you. To being here with you and Hope. To being part of your lives. This isn't just kindness anymore. It's more than that. Destiny's heart pounded. Cameron, you're my boss now. This is complicated. I know. And I'll never put you in an uncomfortable position at work. Your job is yours based on merit, not because of anything personal. But outside of work, I'd like to keep getting to know you. If you're comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with it. More than comfortable. But I'm scared too. Scared of what? Of this being temporary. Of getting used to having you around and then losing you. Hope already adores you. If you leave it will break her heart. And mine too if I'm being honest. Cameron took her hands gently. I'm not planning on leaving. I don't make promises lightly, Destiny. But I promise you this. I'm here as long as you want me to be. Both of you matter to me. More than I expected. More than I probably should admit. Destiny looked up at him, seeing sincerity in his eyes. We matter to you? Very much. They stood there in her tiny kitchen, hands joined, something electric passing between them. Cameron leaned down slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. The kiss was gentle, questioning. His lips were soft against hers, the contact brief but meaningful. When he pulled back, Destiny's eyes were still closed, processing the rush of feelings. Was that okay? Cameron asked quietly. That was more than okay. He smiled and kissed her forehead. I should probably go. Let you get some sleep. Big week ahead for both of us. Yeah, probably a good idea. But neither of them moved. They stayed there, reluctant to break the moment. Finally, Cameron stepped back. I'll see you tomorrow? At work. At work, Destiny agreed. Where we'll be professional and appropriate. Extremely professional. The most professional. Cameron laughed and headed for the door. Before leaving, he turned back. For what it's worth, I haven't felt this way in a very long time. Maybe ever. So thank you. For letting me into your life. Thank you for wanting to be in it. After Cameron left, Destiny leaned against the closed door, touching her lips where he'd kissed her. This was happening. This thing between them was real and growing and terrifying and wonderful all at once. She thought about the woman who'd collapsed at the airport just 2 weeks ago. Exhausted, desperate, running on empty. That woman felt like a stranger now. This version of herself, standing in her apartment after being kissed by a man who made her heart race, felt new. Hopeful. Alive. Destiny checked on Hope, who was sleeping peacefully with Mr. Snuffles tucked under her arm. Her daughter's life was changing too. More time with Mom. Security. Happiness. And maybe, just maybe, something like a father figure in Cameron. Someone who showed up and stayed and cared. That thought should have scared her. Instead, it filled her with warmth. Destiny's phone buzzed with a text. Thank you for tonight. Sleep well. See. She smiled and texted back. Thank you for the pizza and everything else. See you tomorrow. As she got ready for bed, Destiny caught herself humming. Actually humming like people did in movies when they were happy. When had she last done that? Life was changing. Fast. In ways she never could have predicted when she'd boarded that bus to the airport with Hope 2 weeks ago. Everything was different now. And for once, different felt absolutely perfect. 3 months passed in a blur of happiness. Destiny excelled at her job, earning praise from Michael and other colleagues. She learned quickly, handled difficult clients with grace, and became an integral part of the team. The paycheck that arrived every 2 weeks felt like a miracle each time. Hope flourished too. With more time with her mother, with security and stability, the little girl bloomed. Her grades improved. She made new friends. She laughed more, worried less. And Cameron became a constant presence in their lives. He showed up for Hope's school play, sitting in the audience with Destiny and cheering when Hope appeared as a dancing flower. He came to dinner at least twice a week, sometimes bringing groceries, sometimes bringing stories from work that made Hope giggle. He taught Hope to play chess on quiet Sunday afternoons, patiently explaining strategies to her eager mind. For Destiny's birthday, Cameron took them both to an amusement park. They rode roller coasters and ate cotton candy and won stuffed animals at game booths. Hope insisted Cameron carry her on his shoulders when she got tired, and he did so without complaint, this billionaire CEO walking through crowds with a 6-year-old perched on his shoulders, both of them laughing. At work, Cameron and Destiny maintained professional boundaries. They greeted each other formally in the hallways. He never gave her preferential treatment. If anything, he was slightly harder on her work than others, wanting to ensure nobody could accuse her of receiving special favors. But everyone could see the way he looked at her when he thought nobody was watching. The way his expression softened when she entered a room. The way he found excuses to walk past her department. You two are adorable, Michael said one day at lunch. In case nobody's told you. We're keeping things professional at work, Destiny protested. Yeah, and the ocean is slightly damp. Come on, Destiny. Everyone knows. And everyone thinks it's great. Cameron deserves someone who makes him happy, and you clearly do. It's still new. We're taking things slow. How slow? You've been together 3 months. We're not officially together. We're just spending time. Michael raised an eyebrow. If you say so. But for what it's worth, I've never seen Cameron like this. He's different around you. More human. Less robot CEO. That evening, Cameron picked up Destiny from work. He'd been doing that more often lately, his driver taking them to Destiny's apartment or sometimes to dinner or the park. Today he had a different suggestion. How would you feel about coming to my place tonight? I'd like to cook dinner for you and Hope. Show you where I live. Destiny hesitated. Your place? Isn't that a bit? A bit what? I don't know. Big? Fancy? Intimidating? Cameron laughed. It's just a place, Destiny. And I want you to see it. I want to share that part of my life with you. Okay. Let me call the after-school program and tell them we'll be late picking up Hope. Already done. I called earlier. Hope's very excited, by the way. She made me promise there'd be dessert. Cameron's penthouse was on the 45th floor of a luxury building downtown. The elevator required a special key to access his floor. When the doors opened, they stepped directly into his home. Destiny's breath caught. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered views of the entire city. The living room was larger than her entire apartment. Everything was sleek and modern, all clean lines and expensive furniture. But unlike some luxury spaces that felt cold, Cameron's home was warm. Books everywhere. Art on the walls. Photos of his family. Hope's drawings pinned to a corkboard in the kitchen. You kept all of them? Destiny asked, seeing at least a dozen of Hope's drawings displayed. Of course. She makes them for me. They're important. Hope ran through the space, exploring everything with wide eyes. Cameron, you have so many rooms. How do you use them all? I don't usually. It's too much space for one person. Gets lonely sometimes. He caught Destiny's eye as he said it, the implication clear. He was alone here. He had wealth and success and a beautiful home, but he was lonely. Cameron cooked pasta from scratch, showing Hope how to mix flour and eggs to make dough. Destiny watched them work together, flour getting everywhere, both of them laughing when the dough stuck to Hope's fingers. This is harder than it looks, Hope declared. The best things usually are, Cameron said. But see? You're doing great. They ate dinner at Cameron's large dining table, which sat 12 but tonight held just the three of them. The pasta was delicious, even if it was slightly lumpy from Hope's enthusiastic help. After dinner, Hope discovered Cameron's balcony. She pressed her face to the glass, looking out at the city lights below. It's so pretty. Look at all the lights, Mom. It's beautiful, baby. Cameron opened the balcony door. The evening air was warm and pleasant. They stood together looking out at the city, Hope between them, all three holding hands. I could live here forever, Hope said dreamily. It's like being on top of the world. Cameron squeezed her hand gently. You're welcome here anytime. Both of you. Hope yawned, the big day catching up with her. Cameron carried her to his guest room, where she immediately curled up on the large bed. Just a quick nap, she mumbled. Then we can play more. She was asleep before finishing the sentence. Cameron pulled a blanket over her and turned on a small lamp. She'll be out for a while, Destiny said quietly. Big excitement wears her out. They returned to the living room. Destiny walked to the windows looking out at the view. Cameron joined her, standing close enough that their shoulders touched. It's strange, Destiny said softly. 2 months ago I was cleaning offices and buildings like these. Now I'm standing in a penthouse, dating the man who owns half the city. It doesn't feel real sometimes. Does it feel wrong? No. That's what's strange. Feels right. Being with you feels right. But it's so different from anything I've known. I keep waiting for reality to crash back in. Cameron turned her to face him. This is reality, Destiny. You, me, Hope. This is real. As real as anything I've ever known. But your world and my world are so different. The people you know, the places you go, the life you live. I don't fit in that world, Cameron. Then we'll make a new world. One that fits both of us. Is that possible? I think so. If we both want it. Destiny looked up at him, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. I do want it. But I'm scared. Of what? Of not being enough. Of you realizing I'm just a regular person with a regular life. Of waking up one day and you've moved on to someone more appropriate for your status. Cameron cupped her face gently. You are enough. More than enough. You're everything, Destiny. Don't you see that? Your strength, your courage, the way you love Hope, the way you've built a life against all odds. That's what matters. Not money or status or what's appropriate. Just you. The real you. He kissed her then, deeper than before. Destiny melted into it, letting herself feel everything she'd been holding back. All the fear, the hope, the growing love she was afraid to name. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. Stay tonight, Cameron said quietly. Both of you. Hope's already asleep. You can take the master bedroom, I'll take the couch. Or the other guest room. Just stay. Please. Okay, Destiny whispered. We'll stay. They sat on the couch together, Destiny curled against Cameron's side. He showed her photos on his phone from his childhood. His parents both gone now. His brother Richard, who apparently called constantly to check on him. His college years, his early days building the company. I've spent the last 10 years focused on work, Cameron admitted. Building the business, making money, proving myself. And somewhere along the way I forgot what it was all for. Then I met you and Hope. Suddenly everything shifted. The business is still important, but it's not everything. You two are what matter most now. That's a lot of pressure, Destiny said with a small smile. It's not pressure. It's perspective. For the first time in a decade, I have a reason to leave the office at a decent hour. A reason to care about something beyond profit margins. You've given me that. You've given us everything. Stability, security, happiness. Hope talks about you constantly. Her teacher asked if you were her father because Hope mentions Cameron in every story she writes. How would you feel if I was? Not legally, obviously, but in practice. Being that person for Hope. Being there for all the school events and bedtime stories and everything else. Destiny sat up to look at him directly. Are you saying you want to be Hope's father figure? I'm saying I already am. In my heart. I love that little girl like she's my own. And I love you, Destiny. I should probably wait to say that, probably too soon, but it's true. I love you. Both of you. You're my family now. Tears spilled down Destiny's cheeks. Cameron. You don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. Everything I'm doing, everything I want, it's because I love you. And I want to build a life with you. A real life. If you'll let me. I love you too, Destiny said, the words rushing out. I've been trying not to. Trying to be practical and smart and protect myself. But I love you. I think I started falling for you the moment you knelt down at the airport and took Hope's hand. When you chose to help instead of walk away. Cameron kissed her again, and this time it felt like a promise. Like a beginning. They stayed on the couch for hours, talking and kissing and planning a future that suddenly seemed full of beautiful possibilities. When they finally checked on Hope, she was still sound asleep. Mr. Snuffles clutched under her arm. She looks peaceful, Cameron whispered. She is peaceful. For the first time in her life, she has real stability. A routine that doesn't change. A mother who's not exhausted. And you. Someone she can count on. She'll always be able to count on me. I promise you that, Destiny. I'm not going anywhere. This is forever for me. Forever is a long time. Not long enough when it comes to you too. They stood in the doorway watching Hope sleep, and Destiny realized she believed him. Cameron wasn't going to leave. He wasn't going to give up when things got hard. He was here to stay. And that changed everything. The weeks following that night at Cameron's penthouse felt like living in a dream. Cameron picked Hope up from school at least twice a week, taking her for ice cream or to the park. He attended every school event, sitting in the front row with Destiny, clapping louder than anyone when Hope performed. At work, Destiny continued to excel. She'd been promoted to senior associate in the customer relations department, with a raise that made her nearly dizzy. Financial stress, which had been her constant companion for 6 years, was gone. She had savings now. An emergency fund. Security. But more than the money, she had happiness. Real, genuine happiness. Hope noticed the change in her mother. You smile more now, Mom? Like all the time. Even when you're doing dishes. I'm happy, baby. Very happy. Because of Cameron? Because of a lot of things. But yes, partly because of Cameron. Do you like him? I love him. He's the best. He listens when I talk and he never gets bored of my stories. And he gives the best hugs. Can we keep him? Destiny laughed. We don't keep people, Hope. But yes, Cameron is going to be around for a long time. Good. Because I want him to be my dad. The statement made Destiny's heart skip. Your dad. Yeah. I know my real dad left and doesn't want to see me. That's okay. But Cameron is like a dad to me now. He does all the dad things. Can I call him Dad? Do you think he'd like that? Destiny pulled Hope into a hug. That's something you'd have to ask Cameron. But sweetie, I think he'd be honored. That evening, Cameron came for dinner. It was becoming his routine, showing up around 6 with groceries or takeout, helping Hope with homework at the kitchen table while Destiny cooked. Tonight Hope was unusually quiet during dinner. She kept looking at Cameron like she wanted to say something but wasn't sure how. What's on your mind, Hope? Cameron asked gently. You've barely touched your spaghetti, and that's your favorite. I want to ask you something. But I'm nervous. You can ask me anything. You know that. Hope took a deep breath. Can I call you Dad? I know you're not my real dad, but you do all the things dads do. And I want to. If that's okay. The room went completely still. Cameron's eyes got shiny with tears. He looked at Destiny, who nodded encouragingly. Hope, Cameron said, his voice thick with emotion. I would be honored if you called me Dad. That would make me the happiest person in the world. Hope launched herself out of her chair and into Cameron's arms. Really? You mean it? I really mean it. I love you, Hope. You're my daughter in my heart, even if not by blood. And I promise to be the best dad I can be for you. You're already the best dad ever. Destiny wiped her own tears, watching this moment unfold. This was more than she'd ever dared to dream. Her daughter had a father. Someone who chose to love her, to be there for her, to show up every single day. That night, after Hope was asleep, Cameron and Destiny sat on her small couch, holding hands. Thank you, Destiny said quietly, for being so good to her. For making her feel loved and wanted. Her biological father made her feel like she wasn't enough. You've shown her she's everything. She is everything. You both are. I meant what I said, Destiny. I want this to be permanent. I want to be Hope's father officially. And I want to be your husband. Destiny's breath caught. What? Cameron slid off the couch and knelt on one knee. From his pocket, he pulled a small velvet box. I know this is fast. I know we've only been together a few months. But I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Destiny, right? You and Hope are my family. My heart. My home. Will you marry me? He opened the box to reveal a ring. Not the massive diamond Destiny might have expected from a billionaire, but something elegant and simple. A sapphire surrounded by small diamonds. It's blue, Destiny said, her voice shaking. Like Hope's favorite color. And my dress that day at the interview. And like my eyes, according to Hope, which she says you like. Cameron smiled. I wanted it to represent all of us. Will you say yes? Destiny looked at the ring, at Cameron's hopeful face, at the life he was offering. Everything she'd never let herself want because wanting hurt too much when you couldn't have it. But now she could have it. Now it was real and possible and right here. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I'll marry you. Cameron stood and swept her into his arms, kissing her deeply. When they broke apart, both were crying and laughing at the same time. We should tell Hope, Destiny said. She's going to lose her mind. Tomorrow. Let's tell her tomorrow. Tonight I just want to be with you. They sat together on the couch, Destiny's hand extended so she could watch the sapphire catch the light. It was beautiful. Perfect. I can't believe this is my life now, Destiny said. 6 months ago I was working 3 jobs and collapsing from exhaustion. Now I'm engaged to an incredible man who loves my daughter as his own. It's too much happiness. I'm scared something will go wrong. Nothing's going wrong. This is just the beginning, Destiny. We have a whole life ahead of us. And it's going to be beautiful. Promise? I promise. They stayed up late talking about the future. Where they'd live once they were married. Cameron suggested they find a house, something with a yard for Hope to play in. Somewhere between their two worlds. Not his penthouse or her small apartment, but something new that belonged to all 3 of them. I want Hope to have siblings, Cameron said. If you're open to that. I know you'd be starting over with a baby at a different stage of life, but I want more children. With you. I'd love that, Destiny admitted. I always wanted Hope to have brothers or sisters. I just couldn't afford it before. But now, yes. I want more children with you. They made plans and dreamed dreams until nearly midnight. When Cameron finally left, Destiny felt like she was floating. She checked on Hope, who was sleeping peacefully, unaware that her life was about to change even more. Tomorrow they'd tell her she was getting a father and a new house and maybe eventually siblings. Tomorrow their future would officially begin. But tonight, Destiny just savored the moment. The perfect, impossible, beautiful moment of having everything she'd ever wanted handed to her by a man who'd shown up when she needed him most and never left. This was love. Real, lasting, world-changing love. And it was hers. Cameron brought Destiny and Hope to Sunday brunch at his brother's house. Richard West lived in a sprawling estate outside the city with his wife Lauren and their 3 children. It was time for Destiny to meet Cameron's family, time to announce their engagement. The house was massive, making even Cameron's penthouse look modest. Hope held Destiny's hand tightly as they walked up the long driveway. It's okay, baby. They're going to love you. But what if they don't? What if they think I'm not good enough for Cameron? Destiny's own fears voiced by her daughter. Then they'd be wrong. You're wonderful, and anyone who doesn't see that isn't worth worrying about. Cameron squeezed both their hands. They'll love you. Richard is protective, that's all. And his kids are close to your age, Hope. You'll have fun. Richard answered the door with a professional smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. He was taller than Cameron, his hair slightly grayer, his expression more guarded. Cameron, you must be Destiny. And this is Hope. Thank you for inviting us, Destiny said, extending her hand. Richard shook it briefly. Come in. Lauren's in the kitchen. The house was decorated like something from a magazine. Everything white and pristine and expensive. Hope looked around nervously, like she was afraid to touch anything. Lauren appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She was polished and elegant, wearing casual clothes that probably cost more than Destiny's entire wardrobe. Welcome. Cameron talks about you constantly. And Hope, I've heard so much about you. My kids are in the playroom if you'd like to meet them. Hope looked at Destiny for permission. Go ahead, baby. Have fun. Once Hope was gone, the adults settled in the living room. The atmosphere was tense, polite but strained. So, Richard said, Cameron tells us you work at West Industries. In customer relations. That's right. I've been there about 4 months now. And before that? I worked 3 different jobs. Whatever I could get to support Hope. Single mother? Richard, Cameron said warnly. Don't interrogate her. I'm just trying to understand the situation. You meet someone at an airport during a medical emergency, immediately hire her, and now you're bringing her to family events? It's fast, Cameron. Even for you. It's not fast when it's right. Lauren intervened smoothly. I think what Richard means is we want to make sure you're happy, Cameron. We care about you. And Destiny, we want to get to know you properly. I appreciate that, Destiny said carefully. I know this seems sudden. Believe me, I was skeptical too at first. But Cameron has been nothing but wonderful to me and Hope. Of course he has, Richard said. My brother is generous to a fault. Sometimes too generous. Richard, Cameron's voice was sharp now. What exactly are you implying? I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. You meet a woman in crisis, solve all her problems, give her a job at your company, and now you're clearly involved with her. Can you see how that might look from the outside? Destiny felt her face grow hot. If you're suggesting I'm taking advantage of Cameron, you're wrong. I've worked hard at my job. I've earned my place there. I'm sure you have. But you have to admit, dating the CEO who hired you creates certain complications. The only complication, Cameron said, standing up, is that my own brother can't be happy for me. Destiny is the best thing that's happened to me in years. She and Hope have given my life meaning beyond work and money. I thought you'd understand that. I want to understand, Richard said, also standing. But this affects the company too, Cameron. What do the board members think? What do other employees think when they see the CEO dating someone he personally hired? They think what they should think, that I found someone special and I'm not letting her go because of optics or politics. Lauren stood between them. Let's all calm down. This is supposed to be a nice brunch, not an argument. Richard, apologize. For what? For caring about my brother's well-being and reputation? For making our guest feel unwelcome? Lauren turned to Destiny. I'm sorry. Richard means well, he's just protective. Please don't take it personally. It's fine, Destiny said, though it wasn't fine at all. Maybe we should go. No, Cameron said firmly. We came here to share news and we're going to share it. He pulled Destiny close to his side. Richard, Lauren, I asked Destiny to marry me. She said yes. We're getting married. The silence that followed was deafening. Richard sat down heavily. You're joking. I'm completely serious. Cameron, you've known her for what, 6 months? And you're getting married? I've known her long enough to know she's who I want to spend my life with. Lauren looked between them, her expression conflicted. Congratulations, she said finally. If you're happy, then I'm happy for you. Thank you, Destiny said quietly. Richard shook his head. This is a mistake. A huge mistake. But you won't listen to me, you never do. Just promise me you'll at least get a prenuptial agreement. Protect yourself. Richard. Lauren gasped. I'm being practical. Cameron has billions of dollars. Of course there should be a prenup. I agree, Destiny said suddenly. Everyone looked at her. I think a prenuptial agreement is a good idea. Cameron turned to her, confused. Destiny, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Your brother is right about protecting you. I don't want your money, Cameron. I never have. A prenup makes that clear. It protects you and it protects me from people thinking I'm with you for financial reasons. Richard looked surprised. That's actually very reasonable. I'm a reasonable person, Mr. West. I love your brother for who he is, not what he has. A legal document stating that won't change anything between us. Cameron took her hand. If that's what you want, we'll do it. But I want it on record that I trust you completely. This is only because you asked. Noted, Destiny said with a small smile. The tension eased slightly. Lauren suggested they eat and they moved to the dining room. The meal was elegant, multiple courses served on fine china. Hope returned from the playroom and sat next to Destiny, chattering about the games she'd played with Richard's children. They have so many toys. And a whole room just for playing. Can we have a playroom, Mom? We'll see, baby. Actually, Cameron said, I've been looking at houses. There's one I want to show you both. It has a big yard and several bedrooms. One could definitely be a playroom. Hope's eyes went wide. Really? A whole playroom just for me? Just for you. Richard watched this exchange with an unreadable expression. Later, as they were leaving, he pulled Cameron aside while Destiny and Hope said goodbye to Lauren. Look, Richard said quietly, I'm sorry for being harsh earlier. I do want you to be happy. I'm just worried. About what? About you getting hurt. About this moving too fast. About the company being affected if things go wrong. You're my brother. I'm supposed to look out for you. I appreciate that. But Destiny isn't going to hurt me. She's not after my money, Richard. She agreed to a prenup without hesitation. She works hard, she's independent, and she makes me happier than I've been in years. Can't you just be happy for me? Richard sighed. I'm trying. Give me time to get to know her properly. Maybe I'm wrong about this whole thing. You're wrong. But I'll give you time to realize it. In the car ride home, Hope fell asleep in the back seat, exhausted from playing. Destiny stared out the window, quiet. I'm sorry about Richard, Cameron said. He was out of line. He's protecting you. I understand that. And honestly, he's not wrong to be cautious. From his perspective, this does look suspicious. Woman in crisis meets billionaire. Suddenly her life improves dramatically, now they're getting married. It's like a movie plot. It's our real life though. And it's not suspicious when you know the whole story. But he doesn't know the whole story. He sees surfaces and outcomes, not the moments in between. The hospital visits, the dinners, the way you look at Hope like she hung the moon. He doesn't see the real us. Then we'll show him. Over time he'll see what I see. That you're genuine and kind and perfect for me. Destiny reached over and squeezed his hand. Thank you for defending me today. For standing up to your brother. Always. You and Hope are my family now. Anyone who can't accept that doesn't deserve space in our lives. Even your brother? Even him if it comes to that. But I don't think it will. Richard's stubborn, but he's not unreasonable. Once he sees how happy we are, he'll come around. When they got home, Cameron carried a sleeping Hope inside and laid her on her bed. Destiny covered her with a blanket and kissed her forehead. She had a good time today at least, Destiny whispered. Even if the adults were complicated. Kids always have the right priorities. Play and fun and being present. We could learn from them. They went to the living room, settling on the couch together. Destiny curled into Cameron's side, feeling safe despite the day's tension. Are you sure about this? She asked quietly. About marrying me despite your family's concerns? I've never been more sure of anything. You're not the one I'm questioning, Destiny. Never doubt that. I just don't want to cause problems in your family. Richard is your brother. That relationship is important. So is our relationship. So is our future together. Richard will adjust. And if he doesn't, that's his choice. I'm not giving you up to make him comfortable. Destiny lifted her head to look at him. I love you. Even when things get complicated, even when people judge, even when it's hard. I love you. I love you too. And nothing Richard or anyone else says will change that. They sat together in the quiet apartment, holding each other, certain of their feelings even as the world around them questioned. Love wasn't always easy. It wasn't always understood by others. But it was real and it was theirs, and that was enough. More than enough. 6 months later, a warm Saturday in June, Cameron stood at the airport. Not just any spot in the airport. Gate 47 in Terminal B. The exact place where Hope had run to him crying, where Destiny had lain unconscious, where everything had changed. The gate area had been transformed. White chairs lined up in rows. Flowers everywhere, bright and cheerful in reds, blues, yellows, and purples. A simple arch covered in roses stood where Destiny had collapsed that day. Cameron's hands shook slightly as he adjusted his charcoal gray suit. His brother Richard stood beside him as best man. Their relationship slowly healed over the past months of family dinners and Richard seeing how genuinely happy Cameron was. You ready for this? Richard asked. I've been ready since the day I met her. I was wrong about her, you know. About Destiny. She's good for you. Really good. And Hope is a great kid. I know you were wrong. But I appreciate you saying it. Richard smiled. Lauren keeps telling me I need to admit when I'm wrong more often. So here it is. You found the right person, Cam. I'm happy for you. Music started playing softly. The few guests, mostly close friends and colleagues, turned to watch. Cameron's heart raced as Hope appeared first, walking down the makeshift aisle in a beautiful purple flower girl dress. She carried a basket of petals, scattering them carefully, a huge smile on her face. She reached Cameron and whispered loudly, "Dad, Mom looks so pretty. You're going to cry." "Probably," Cameron whispered back, already feeling tears threaten. Hope took her place to the side, and then Destiny appeared. Cameron's breath stopped. She wore a simple white dress, elegant and understated, with lace details on the sleeves. Her hair was styled in soft curls. She carried a bouquet of blue and white flowers. But what took his breath away wasn't the dress or the flowers. It was her smile. The pure joy on her face as she walked toward him. Destiny walked alone by choice. "I've been on my own for so long," she told Cameron. "I want to walk to you myself. To choose you with my own steps." When she reached him, Cameron took her hands and saw tears in her eyes matching his own. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi," he whispered back. The officiant, a kind judge who was a friend of Cameron's, smiled at them both. "We're gathered here today in a place of great significance to this couple. Right here in this very spot, Cameron and Destiny's story began. It began with crisis and fear, but also with kindness and hope. It began with a man who chose to help instead of walking away, and a woman who chose to accept that help with grace and gratitude." Cameron glanced at Hope, who was watching with rapt attention, Mr. Snuffles tucked under her arm. The officiant continued. "Love doesn't always arrive in expected ways. Sometimes it finds us in airports, in hospitals, in the small moments between crisis and healing." Cameron and Destiny found each other in one of life's hardest moments, and they chose to build something beautiful from that difficulty. Today they make that choice permanent. The ceremony was short and sweet. Traditional vows mixed with personal promises. Cameron promised to always show up, to always choose them, to be the father Hope deserved and the husband Destiny needed. Destiny promised to let him in, to accept help when offered, to build a life together based on trust and partnership. When the officiant pronounced them married, Cameron kissed Destiny softly, hearing Hope cheer in the background along with their guests. "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. West." They walked back down the aisle together, Hope running to join them, and the three of them exited the gate area as a family. Airport travelers stopped to watch, some pulling out phones to record, others just smiling at the obvious happiness. The reception was held at Cameron's penthouse, transformed with flowers and lights. It was intimate, just 50 people, an evening of good food and dancing and celebration. Hope gave a speech that made everyone cry, talking about how she'd prayed for a dad and how Cameron was better than anything she'd imagined. Richard gave a speech apologizing for his initial skepticism and welcoming Destiny officially into the family. Michael from work gave a hilarious toast about how Cameron had become almost human since meeting Destiny. As the evening wound down, Cameron pulled Destiny onto the balcony alone. The city sparkled below them, but neither was looking at the view. "We did it," Destiny said softly. "We actually did it. Was there ever any doubt? Maybe a little. Sometimes I still can't believe this is real. That I get to keep you. You're stuck with me now. Legally binding." Destiny laughed and leaned against him. "There's something I need to tell you." "What?" "I'm pregnant." Cameron went completely still. "What?" "I found out this morning. I was going to wait until after the wedding to tell you, but I can't keep it in. We're having a baby, Cameron. Hope's going to be a big sister." Cameron swept her into his arms, lifting her off her feet, laughing and crying at the same time. "A baby? We're having a baby? We're having a baby." He set her down carefully, immediately protective. "Are you okay? Do you feel okay? Should you be standing in heels?" "I'm fine. We're fine. It's very early still, just a few weeks. But yes, I'm okay. We're okay." Cameron placed his hand on her still flat stomach. "There's a baby in there. Our baby." "Our baby," Destiny confirmed, covering his hand with hers. "Hope is going to lose her mind with excitement." "I know. Should we tell her tonight?" "Definitely." They went back inside and found Hope dancing with Richard's kids. Cameron scooped her up, and the three of them went to a quiet corner. "Hope, we have something to tell you," Destiny said. "What? Is it a puppy? Can we get a puppy now?" Cameron laughed. "Not a puppy. Something even better. You're going to be a big sister." Hope's eyes went wide. "A sister? I'm getting a sister? Or a brother?" We don't know yet. But yes, there's a baby coming. Hope screamed with delight, attracting everyone's attention. I'm going to be a big sister. Did you hear that? Mom's having a baby. The guests erupted in cheers and congratulations. Richard clapped Cameron on the back. Lauren hugged Destiny carefully. Everyone celebrated this new chapter. Later, much later, after the guests had left and Hope had fallen asleep on the couch, Cameron and Destiny stood in his kitchen, now their kitchen, cleaning up the remnants of the celebration. This is our life now, Destiny said, drying a glass. Married, expecting a baby, raising Hope together. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Don't pinch yourself. Stay right here in this moment with me. I'm not going anywhere. This is where I belong. With you. With our family. Cameron pulled her close, careful of the baby she carried. A year ago, I was alone in this penthouse, working too much, living too little. Then I missed a flight and everything changed. Best missed flight of my life. Best airport crisis of my life, Destiny countered with a smile. Remember how terrified you were to accept help? How hard it was for you to let me in? I remember. I was so stubborn. So proud. I almost pushed you away so many times. But you didn't. You took a chance on us. On me. On Hope having a father. And look where we are now. Where we are now is perfect. Hope stirred on the couch, mumbling in her sleep. They both turned to look at her, this little girl who'd brought them together with her desperate plea for help. We should get her to bed, Destiny said. Cameron lifted Hope gently, carrying her to what was now her bedroom in the penthouse. They'd spent the last month moving Destiny and Hope's things from the apartment, combining their lives physically as well as emotionally. Hope's room was decorated with her drawings and stuffed animals, a mixture of her old life and new. As Cameron laid her down, Hope's eyes opened slightly. Dad. Yes, sweetie? Today was the best day ever. Thank you for marrying Mom. Thank you for being my dad. Thank you for asking me to help that day at the airport. You saved me, Hope. Both of you saved me. We saved each other, Hope mumbled, already falling back asleep. In their own bedroom, Destiny and Cameron got ready for bed, this first night as husband and wife. As they climbed into bed together, Destiny curled into Cameron's side, his hand resting on her stomach where their baby grew. Tell me what you're thinking, Cameron said softly. I'm thinking about that day. About how scared I was. About how I almost didn't make it. About how Hope ran to you, a complete stranger, because she had no one else. What if you'd walked away? What if you'd been like everyone else who just watched and recorded? But I didn't walk away. No, you didn't. You stayed. You helped. You changed our entire lives because you chose kindness over convenience. Do you know how rare that is? It shouldn't be rare. It should be normal. But it's not. Most people would have called security or social services and left. You stayed with a scared little girl in a hospital. You gave up business deals and slept in uncomfortable chairs. You paid our bills without hesitation. You gave me a job and never expected anything in return. I expected you, Cameron said. Maybe not consciously at first, but somewhere deep down I was hoping you'd choose me too. That Hope would want me around. That you'd let me be part of your family. We're so lucky we found you. I'm lucky you let me find you. They lay in comfortable silence, both processing the day, the year, the impossible journey that had led them here. Cameron? Destiny said sleepily. Yeah. What are you most excited about? For our future. Cameron thought about it. Morning chaos with kids running around. Birthday parties and school plays. Teaching our children to be kind and generous. Growing old with you. All of it. Every messy, beautiful, ordinary moment. That's what I'm excited about. Ordinary moments with extraordinary people. Exactly. Destiny was quiet for so long that Cameron thought she'd fallen asleep. Then she spoke again, her voice thick with emotion. I used to think I didn't deserve good things. That I'd made bad choices with Hope's father and this was my punishment. Working 3 jobs, exhausted all the time, barely surviving. I thought that was my life. My lot. Then you showed up and proved me wrong. You showed me I did deserve kindness. I did deserve help. I did deserve love. Thank you for that, Cameron. Thank you for seeing me when I couldn't see myself. You were always worth seeing, Destiny. Always worth loving. I just helped you remember that. She kissed him softly. Best missed flight ever. Best airport crisis ever. They both laughed, holding each other close, and fell asleep as husband and wife, as partners, as family. Outside the windows, the city continued its endless motion. But inside this room, in this bed, time felt suspended in perfection. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. A pregnancy to navigate, a house to find, a daughter to raise, a business to run. Life would continue with its complications and difficulties. But they'd face it together. Cameron and Destiny and hope and the baby on the way. A family built not on chance or obligation but on choice. On kindness freely given and gratefully received. On love that started with a desperate child's plea and grew into something beautiful and permanent. In the quiet of that first married night, both Cameron and Destiny understood that missing that flight, collapsing at that gate, crying out for help, choosing to answer, every moment had led them here. To this perfect present. To this promising future. And they wouldn't change a single thing.